Well, good evening, my beauties. And when I say good evening, I mean good evening. In fact, it is almost 10:15 p.m. You guys are probably going to see this maybe the next day, depending on how the next vlog goes. It's just about ready to upload. This is going to be a video that I think has definitely been a long time coming. And I'm going to be honest, I know a lot of you guys are smart enough to know what we are about to talk about. So I guess let's not really beat around the bush. I mean, I was never really a fan of beating around the bush. We're a couple. I don't know. There's not really much more to say about that. We're dating. We're a thing. We're in a relationship. Now, I wasn't really exactly hinting towards any of this, but I would hope with how often Allie was in the vlogs over the past few months that you guys would start to get the hint like, okay, clearly something is going on between them. And yeah, the truth has been revealed. The juice is now loose. We are a couple. Now, if we rewind back to the Tiana's Bayou Adventure previews, you know that I went a little bit more in depth as to what's been going on in recent times. And obviously, now that we've talked about this, I'm sure you guys can see what I'm about to talk about, can understand what I'm about to talk about. But actually, I feel like you should talk about this because, you know, this is your thing. Like, yes, we're dating, but this is on her right now.
I don't want to go into full detail.
Because, you know, legality.
You know, it's also their privacy versus mine, and it's a whole thing, but it was very much, I wasn't happy. It was a long time coming, and unfortunately, things just don't work out. I'm a lot happier now, obviously, because I got this one now. It was just one of those things that, you know, things fell into place at the most opportune time, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense, because, I mean, obviously, you know, we went on that big trip back in April. We went to WrestleMania, we went to Disneyland. A lot of things were going down, a lot of things that, you know, I personally hoped would kind of like rectify their relationship, if you will. Like, I knew what was about to go down, but part of me was like, I really don't want to see that go down. So I'm really hoping that this trip would kind of help with that, if you will. End of the day, unfortunately, that didn't end up being the case, and they have since been separated. Now, I know right away, a lot of you are wondering, oh, was there any cheating involved? The answer to that is no. There was no cheating involved. I did not come into play until after the separation was initiated. But now that begs the question, oh, when did I come into play? It was very interesting, and I'm just going to be blunt with this and say that we kind of trauma bonded with all of this. As I'm sure a lot of you know, I've had my share of relationships since I've lived down here in Orlando, Florida. In fact, just throughout 2023, I had 3 different relationships, one of which I documented on camera a couple times. Those videos have since gone public because I'm past my point of caring. Anyways, the reason that I think we match a lot, that we, you know, click together a lot, is because of our respective traumas when it comes to relationships. And to some, I know that's probably a bad thing, but to us, it's really not, because it really helps us to see the most in each other. It really helps us to see, you know, how we've been hurt, why we've been hurt, and what we can do to really help bring each other up from that world of hurt. I mean, for instance, I ended up becoming best friends with them not too long before a different relationship that I was in, which I would say at this point, kind of fortunately, if you will. I mean, wouldn't that make more sense? But anyways, it wasn't really a good one. Again, I'm not gonna go too far into detail because it's just not really worth it at this point. It's been, yeah, basically a year since then. But at the end of the day, I just felt like I was being used, and I'm not really a fan of that. And we've both learned that we don't like that feeling at all. And I think that's what brought us together ultimately, is just understanding that we both know what we want out of a relationship, but apparently we're both able to offer each other that. That is what brought us together. But at the end of the day, all that really matters is that we're both happy. We're both in a much better place. Yeah, we're still struggling with certain things, mainly, you know, with our jobs, with our living situation. Obviously, Orlando, Florida, still very, very expensive. There's a lot of things that are going to be coming in the coming months, which we are very, very excited to talk about, but we're going to get to that another time. But I mean, at least from my end, you know, I've honestly never been happier. And that was the shocking thing. Both of us coming out of essentially bad relationships and being where we're at the moment is very, very unexpected. But at the end of the day, I would say it's kind of worth it.
Only kind of. The only thing I could say is we were friends beforehand, and obviously Aiden saw what was going on in my life, whether it be through working at Tiana's or, you know, having my support group at Tiana's and having them really see me blossom into a different person after all of this, it really puts into perspective how quickly Aiden and I became friends, and it just made sense afterwards to create a relationship because, again, he saw what happened behind closed doors because obviously we lived together. So it was very much a, hey, I see you, I understand you, this is how this is gonna go.
Because I think if we didn't know each other at the time, things would have gone a lot differently. I wouldn't know what to think, I wouldn't know how to react with that. And I think that's what also brought us together, is just because of how well we knew each other prior, because it had gotten to that point where we had known each other for maybe just about a year when we started dating. But if that wasn't the case, then obviously I don't think we would be here right now. I genuinely don't think I would be here in this house anymore. But at the end of the day, I mean, life happens. That's really the only way I can describe it. You know, life happens for good, for bad, for better, for worse. Things happen, and somehow life brought us together. I don't really know what else I can say at this point. Just all you guys really need to know is that we're happy, and honestly, I hope you guys are happy. So yeah, my beauties, I thought I would just give you guys this little, well, I wouldn't say little, short little video, but very, very big life update. And for all we know, who knows what the next year might bring.